Welcome back to Unlock Your Potential, the podcast for commercial real estate professionals who want to lead with clarity, execute with precision, and stay ahead in an industry that's changing fast. I'm your host, Matt Faupel, property manager, industry educator, and founder of Faupel X and creator of CRE Pro. Every week, we break down the mindset, systems, and strategies that drive high-performance building operations, emergency preparedness, and modern CRE leadership. Whether you're managing a single asset or overseeing a complex portfolio, this show is about helping you operate with confidence and build a career that scales. Let's get into today's episode. Today we're talking about winter operations. You've probably heard me say this before on my newsletters or in other videos. Winter is won with preparation. But the reality is most property managers don't get perfect timing. Things get busy, projects spill over, inspections slip, and winter shows up anyway. So this episode is about what to do right now, no matter where you're starting from, if winter hits tomorrow, next week, or it might already be where you're at. This framework will help keep you ahead of it the best that you can. Winter operations aren't really about weather, it's about predictability. Cold exposes every weak point in a building: roofs, pipes, boilers, documentation, communication. The leaders who consistently perform well in winter do a couple things. First, they assume something will go wrong, not in a pessimistic way, but in a professional, prepared way. Second, they prepare systems, not just a checklist. Checklists are great at telling you what to do. Systems tell you and your team what to do when things happen. Third, they communicate early and often with tenants, vendors, engineering, leadership. Everyone stays aligned regardless of the severity of the winter weather. This mindset puts you ahead of most properties in the industry. A couple things that we can start off with that you must confirm as you're getting into the winter season. Freeze protection. This is where most preventable losses happen. Make sure your irrigation is truly shut down. Check hose bibs, vacant suites, mechanical rooms, any known spaces in the building that are typically cold in those winter months. Want to make sure that those are ready to go. Simple mistakes with not doing a walkthrough or checking these known issues can lead to extremely expensive outcomes later in the winter season. Roof readiness. Your roof is your first line of defense in many ways, and it's also one of the bigger risks during the freeze-thaw cycles. Make sure your drains are cleared, access ladders are safe, pathways are walkable, and any known leaks from summer storms are being either monitored or you're getting them scheduled to be addressed. Freeze-thaw cycles, they punish unresolved issues on the roof every year. Boilers, heating equipment. Winter exposes the weaknesses in your heating strategy for the building. Make sure to verify that maintenance is complete and up to date on these systems. If you have backup heat sources or generators, make sure those are ready to go for the season. The goal is simple. Make sure to eliminate surprises, and this is very easy to do with just checking on things that are right around the building. Water loss preparation. This is a very big risk category during winter. You want to make sure to set aside time to review your vendor contacts, your emergency call lists. Don't assume the list from last year is still accurate. A lot of numbers change, people come and go from roles. You want to make sure to touch base with whoever you have under contract. And if you don't have someone under contract, you want to make sure you at least get those T&Ms submitted and ready in case something does happen. And make sure your staff is trained on what their response requires, no matter the situation. Conduct walkthroughs, tabletop drills, use your emergency action plan that's hopefully updated and readily accessible in your office. Know and understand how to contact your insurance and how the reporting process works if there is a loss. If you're prepared for a water situation, then you're pretty much prepared for winter in many ways. Communication. You can calm an entire building with one well-written email, signage posted at the entrances. Tenants should understand and know as you're going into the winter season what to expect, how to report issues, who to contact and when. And it's a helpful tool to let them know what you've already done to prepare for that winter season. Clear communication reduces panic and it builds trust. Something that's really important during that winter season is the rule of the first 10 minutes. In any emergency, especially a winter one, a burst pipe, a down heater, a roof issue, the first 10 minutes on how the team responds could determine what the next 10 hours look like. Your team should know exactly who makes the call and to who, how to shut things down, what vendors need to be contacted for different scenarios, who's communicating with leadership, with tenants, with first responders. And this is exactly where tabletop exercises pay off. They build muscle memory before we really need it. One of the things you can do is just start getting your eyes around the property, encourage your team to do those walkthroughs, checking the roof, checking the drains, making sure that you have the snow melt, the salt, the shovels, the winter clothing, any PPE that might be necessary. Make sure to touch base with your snow vendor, walk the property, take a look at the snow map, the contract, what's been agreed upon, any lessons that have been learned from last year. A lot of properties put out curb markers to minimize damage. So there's several things you can do around the property to continue to prepare for winter, whether it's already started with your first snow of the season, or you have something that's on the radar that'll be coming around the corner. Make sure to touch base with the snow vendor and your team on what are the priority areas for snow removal, such as ADA ramps, fire lanes, loading docks. Make sure to stage some of your own salt, signage, shovels, because sometimes vendors can get stuck in traffic, weather can be unpredictable, and sometimes you may have a little bit of a head start that can make all the difference with winter weather. Make sure to, as you're walking around the property, to check the envelope, check door sweeps, vestibules, if you have heaters in the stairwells. All of these things, while ideally are getting checked in the late fall months, if we're now in the winter season, you really need to make sure these are getting checked off your list. Now, as you go through the winter season, make sure to run through that emergency action plan and double check that your generators are good to go, your heaters continue to function well, your life safety systems are all working correctly, and occasionally send out tenant reminders about just what's going on with the winter weather. Once a storm does roll through, you want to make sure that you take time to document any service times, materials used with the vendors. If it's a severe storm or it's a freeze-thaw cycle, you want to take time to inspect the roof, lobbies, loading zones, any slopes. You want to make sure to check those immediately to confirm if there's any hazards at play. Winter season rewards the prepared and it punishes the reactive teams. You don't need perfection, you just need clarity. You need practiced execution that sets everyone up for success. And like I said, if winter's already hit, well, hopefully you've knocked out some of these things. But if winter's still around the corner for you, you have a great opportunity to get these knocked out before the holidays. Thank you for listening to Unlock Your Potential. If today's episode helped you think differently about CRE, leadership, building operations, please consider sharing it with someone in your network. You can subscribe to my newsletter on LinkedIn, learn more about what I'm up to at fallpellx.com. And if you're interested in trying out my AI tool, CRE Pro, that's available for free on the ChatGPT store. Till next time, stay sharp, stay prepared, keep going, and I'll see you in the next episode.